677 federal district judges are just that, judges. They're not the President of the United States. They're not the person who put his name on the ballot, ran nationwide, got 77 million votes, won the Electoral College, head of the executive branch. They're judges, district judges. Said this in committee. The real question ultimately is who gets to decide. Some district judge or the guy who put his name on the ballot. Some bureaucrat or the guy who ran for the office and got elected by we the people.
What happens when unelected judges try to overrule the President of the United States? Today, I'm breaking down Chairman Jim Jordan's fiery push for the No Rogue Rulings Act and why it could change the power game in Washington forever. Whether you live and breathe politics or just want to know who's really calling the shots, you're in the right place. Here's the deal. The No Rogue Rulings Act is all about reining in the power of individual district judges, specifically stopping them from issuing nationwide orders that can block a president's policies. Chairman Jim Jordan says unelected judges shouldn't get to override the will of millions of voters.
We the people.
It's about checks and balances.
That's the fundamental question. And guess what? We just got two decisions from the United States Supreme Court which seem to reinforce that fundamental principle, that the guy who runs and heads the executive branch should make the decision. 2 days ago, the Supreme Court said they're going to put a hold on the time on this Judge Boasberg and this migrant issue that's been with us for the last 3 weeks. And then yesterday, the Supreme Court said to this unelected district judge in California that thinks they get to decide how many probationary employees work in the executive branch, not the guy who heads the executive branch.
It's about checks and balances, and as Jordan puts it, restoring power to the people. Jordan's message? Judges aren't the president. They didn't campaign. They didn't get tens of millions of votes. So why should they have the final say on how the country is run? He pointed to recent cases where judges stepped in to reverse immigration enforcement and tell the executive branch how to do its job. According to Jordan, that's not just wrong, it's flat out unconstitutional. He also talked about two big Supreme Court moments. First, the court paused a judge's order on immigration policy. Then, it blocked a case challenging how the executive branch manages its own people.
They said no to that, those left-wing groups who were seeking standing in that case. Both decisions are wins for the Constitution, wins for the rule of law, wins for the executive branch, and maybe most importantly, wins for common sense. I think I've been pointing this out since Judge Boasberg issued his order. When he said, turn the plane around, bring back the bad guys, bring back the illegal migrants in this terrorist organization, turn the plane around, bring them back.
For Jordan, these weren't just legal wins. They were victories for common sense and the Constitution. At the end of the day, this debate is about power. Who gets to make the big calls? The president, chosen by the people, or a judge in a robe? Jordan says it's time to draw the line, and this bill is his answer.
Bring them back.
So,
that makes no sense. Makes no sense, and the American people understand it. So I want to thank Mr. Issa for this good piece of legislation that we passed out of the committee, I think, 4 weeks ago. I want to thank Representative Schmidt, who added the good amendment to it that I think makes a good bill even stronger. And I would urge adoption of the legislation. With that, I yield back to our chairman.
So, what do you think? Should judges wield this kind of influence? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear from you. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it, and hit subscribe for more straightforward political breakdowns every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.